Good morning. It is Friday, October 10. I'm Juliet Bennett Ryla here with Maria Gharib, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we're talking about AI's possible use in an alleged crime. We'll also discuss AMD's big deal with Open AI and what NVIDIA has to say about it, and how the internet made a mess of Sora 2's launch. We'll also discuss Google's expansion of Opal, its app-building tool, and more in today's AI update. We'll also get to the biggest headlines in biz and tech right after this.
Using only 20% of your business data is like dating someone who only texts emojis. First of all, that's kind of annoying. And second, you're missing a lot of context. But that's how most businesses operate today, using only 20% of their data, unless you have Hubspot, where all the emails, call logs, and chat messages turn into insights to grow your business, because all that data makes all the difference. Learn more at HubSpot.com.
If you haven't seen a food delivery bot yet, there may be one on its way to a neighborhood near you. DoorDash is partnering with Serve Robotics to roll customer orders down Los Angeles sidewalks and soon streets across the U.S. The deal follows DoorDash's debut of its own autonomous delivery bot, Dot, last week. The company is also teaming up with bot maker Coco and drone startup Wing to get you that pad thai by any means necessary. If you love the Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme, this one's for you. Australian Catholic University accused about 6,000 students of academic misconduct. About 90% of those incidents allege that AI was used to cheat. However, it turned out that the university had used Turnitin, a plagiarism detection software that added an AI detector in 2023, to come to these conclusions, some of which were wrong. So, great. ACU dismissed about 25% of referrals in any case where Turnitin's AI tool was the only evidence of such misconduct. But it was a big hassle for students. If you read the full article, lots of delays, lots of frustration. Sounds about right. Next up, Google Shopping. Google Shopping added a new AI-powered try-on tool that lets users take virtual shoes for a spin before buying. And no, you don't have to turn over a picture of your feet. The feature will work with a fully clad, full-length pic. Interesting. I'm not sure how that accounts for comfort, but it seems cool. The Rubik's Wow Cube is a 2x2 version of the iconic puzzle that has 24 LCD displays in place of its colored squares. So instead of matching up blue and red, gamers will be tasked with completing mobile games via the cube and paying about $300 for the gadget. That is an expensive Rubik's Cube, but, it does sound cool. Also cool, University of Maryland researchers created a vaccine that, in a phase 1 clinical trial, was found to be safe and appeared to create an immunity response to salmonella, a common cause of food poisoning that sickens over 1 million Americans annually.
Hey, it's Anna Sale, host of Death, Sex, and Money, the show from Slate about the things we think about a lot and need to talk about more. Many of us have something going on behind closed doors, like a listener we called Elizabeth, who told us she's a hoarder.
I see mess beyond probably what most people think of when they think of mess.
We'll work through it all together on Death, Sex, and Money. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
And for more stuff like that, subscribe to the show, and we'll have more for you tomorrow. All right. Once again, today we are here with Maria from the Mindstream newsletter to discuss the latest AI news. Hey, Maria, welcome back to the show. Thanks for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right. So like every week, I'm going to start with the same question. What is the most interesting thing in AI that you have come across in the last week?
Well, actually, we covered this like 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. The story is actually wild, in my opinion. It feels like it came out of a thriller.
Okay.
There's a 29-year-old guy in California that was just arrested for allegedly, people wouldn't know that I'm doing quotations, but allegedly starting that huge Pacific Palisades fire. I don't know, but people are pretty sure they know about this. It was huge. Yeah. It was on like the news everywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. But it gets creepy at this point because investigators found he's generated an AI image on ChatGPT of a burning city before the fire actually happened. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, ChatGPT didn't start the fire, but it's wild to see AI showing up in like criminal investigations like this. it's not just deepfakes or scams anymore. It's like literally becoming absolute evidence that prosecutors use. So the whole thing kind of blurs the line between imagination and intent. Was he just messing around creatively, or was that image a sign of what he was going to do, or like what he's about to do? It's very, very extremely unsettling. The bottom line is that AI is not the villain here. The person that is using AI with malicious intent is. It's another reminder that these kinds of tools record everything, and digital footprints are like way louder than we might think as people.
Yeah, I just actually read a story about a teenager who was arrested because he asked ChatGPT how to murder his friend. And of course, that chat log was there.
Yeah.
I know I've seen or heard in true crime podcasts or shows that someone...
I love true crime.
Yeah, part of the evidence is like, they Google, how do I get rid of a body, or how much arsenic do I need to put in or how much rat poison? Like they ask Google these questions indicating their intent to commit a crime.
Yeah.
And then, of course, once a warrant is secured, investigators have access to their search histories.
It's absolutely wild. I think people forget that everything stays on the internet.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see how this case shakes out from two perspectives in terms of, what does an AI company have to turn over if someone is investigating? And also, as someone who lived through that fire, I am not near the Palisades, but I'm in Pasadena, which is right by Altadena, which was affected by the Eaton fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it was essentially this perfect storm where it was like we knew the wind conditions were going to be very bad. So anyone who attempted to start a fire had a really good chance of starting a large fire.
They knew that it's going to basically just spread horrendously. So
very vested interest in this. I had friends who were affected. I have friends whose parents burned home in the Palisades fire. So it's definitely something that we've been talking about here in Los Angeles for the last few days.
Yeah. So sorry to hear that, honestly. I hope everyone's doing okay.
The communities did really come together. I feel like every single day I see some sort of like support group for victims of the fire over here. So things are good, but I think people are really going to be watching this case.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, 100%.
So the next question I wanted to ask you is not as interesting as true crime, but sort of a business deal here. So earlier this week, chipmaker AMD, its stock has been soaring since OpenAI's announcement earlier that it would buy billions worth of AI equipment from the company. Part of this agreement apparently involves a potential 10% of AMD.
Yeah.
Now, NVIDIA, which you commonly think of as being one of OpenAI's partners, CEO Jensen Huang had something to say about it, called the deal imaginative and unique and surprising on an episode of CNBC's Squawk Box, in particular saying he was surprised that they would give away 10% of the company before they even built it. I'm curious what you make of this deal. Do you think it's unique and surprising, or what's the dirt here?
Yeah, just to sum up, like for people that don't know about this, AMD and OpenAI, it was like a deal that shook the AI hardware scene this week. People all over the world, everywhere, like people have been talking a lot about it because everyone has some sort of investment in these kinds of stuff. So OpenAI announced it's buying billions worth of AI chips from AMD. It might even take up to 10% stake in the company, which is insanely, it's wild because up until now, OpenAI is basically married to NVIDIA. Investors obviously lost it. AMD's stock jumped over 40% this week. And we're talking, it hit 380 billion market cap, which is wild.
Yeah.
So for the record, that's their best run since 2016. AMD CEO Lisa Su called it a win-win, obviously, saying their chips are ready for like a massive AI workload. Understandable. Anyone would say that if they handled something as big as that. But then, as you said, NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, popped on CNBC and said, like, wait, they gave away 10% before even building it. So that was a very salty X energy, in my opinion.
Yes.
Honestly, it's a huge smart move for both of them. OpenAI is diversifying because that's how you ensure longevity of something, of a huge company as this. And AMD is finally stepping out of NVIDIA's shadow, and the chip war is extremely spicy. With Mindstream, we've been like handling the chip wars since the start, obviously about NVIDIA and AMD and everyone else. But now it's like at a point where I think it's going to be an actual war. Obviously not arms and everything, but they're head to head right now.
Well, if anyone's feeling bad for NVIDIA, I just looked up their market cap and it's still 4.7 trillion today. So
They're fine.
They're still doing great. So the next question I have to ask you, it's again having to do with people being naughty with AI in whatever capacity. But Sora 2 came out. That's OpenAI's latest image generator. Had kind of a rocky launch, mostly because internet's got a internet. People are generating images of all sorts of things, copyrighted characters, people who have passed away, other malarkey, as I like to call it. And that led OpenAI to increase guardrails, but that led to people being mad and creating even more slop, if you want to call it slop. It seems to me like OpenAI is kind of, much like any tech company, caught between the brain rot its users want to make and the rights holders who do not want them to make it. I know a lot of tech companies, when you give your tech to users, just like Facebook has issues moderating, you really got to deal with what people are doing with your tech. But what do you think is going to happen here with OpenAI and the tech they've rolled out to users?
I mean, Sora 2 was weirdly good. I'm saying this as a person that uses AI every single day and that covers about AI every single day. So OpenAI's new image and video generator, Sora 2, for people who don't know, had a pretty rough launch, if I may say. People started obviously using it, as you said, to make everything from fake celebrity clips to copyrighted characters and even some really uncomfortable stuff. I understand people kind of getting uncomfortable with this. OpenAI responded by tightening its guardrails, and that just annoyed the creative crowd who felt the tool suddenly got way too censored, way too fast. But it's a tricky balance, in my opinion. Like, users want the freedom and rights holders want the control, and OpenAI is stuck in the middle trying to please both ends. And in a way that you're trying to please both ends, in my opinion, you need rules. Like, put on these rules and like tell them that these are the rules and all of you have to abide by them. So it's not about like good or bad. It's about how fast this tech is evolving. And I think moments like this remind us, as exciting as AI gets, because it gets exciting. If you want to try out Sora, it's pretty good. Like, it's giving you like HD things, like 4K things, and it's giving you wild things. But it's not about the creativity or the story behind the creativity. It's like the responsibility. So it's the person using it. The conversation is shifting from what can it make to what should it make. And I feel like this is where it needs to be, because even though they are trying to hold both crowds, you need rules. This is what we've always been advocating as people that write and as people that write about AI. Everyone needs rules. Like, just put these rules down and like let people abide by them.
The last question I have for you today is about Google's Opal, which I am unfamiliar with because I do not make apps. But this is apparently an app building tool, and they are expanding it to 15 additional countries. I'm wondering if you could tell us, for people like me who don't make apps, what this is and how people are using it.
So yeah, there are people like you and me, actually. I've never written a line of code in my entire existence. I wouldn't want to. Even when I see a coding, I kind of cry on the inside. It's the equivalent of an Excel sheet, in my opinion. I can't see a code ever. I tried coding for a while and I was like, I don't like numbers. I like words. Give me words. I'm okay with words. So Google's expanding access to Opal, which is their AI app builder, and they're expanding into 15 or more countries, like places like India, Japan, Brazil, and Singapore. Opal basically lets you build simple web apps just by describing what you want in like plain English. And you type something like, make me a budget tracker that emails me reminders, and it builds just that. You know, it gives you layout, it gives you logic, it gives you everything that you want from that app if you give it, you know, the correct instructions. Then you can open an editor and tweak like the flow or the prompts. What's so good about this is that you don't need to code, you know, like you don't need to do anything about it. And the interesting part is that Google didn't expect people to get this far with it. Obviously, people have malicious intent, but people are very smart. We're surrounded by very smart people and very creative. They thought users would make fun little tools and, you know, some small stuff that they could use every single day. But it turns out creators are like building surprisingly sophisticated stuff. So we're talking productivity dashboards, creative generators, mini workflows for your teams, etc. So this rollout is Google saying, okay, clearly this is a huge potential. And they've also improved performance. Now it builds faster. It's better at debugging, because I think a lot of coders, whenever they see a bug, they also kind of crash out and cry like me. And the ability to run like multiple steps at once, which is what a lot of coders want. So basically, Opal's getting closer to a real development environment for people like you and me that have never written a line of code and really want to build an app.
Right. That's interesting. I wonder what the barrier to entry is. I wonder how much coding a person would need to know to be able to use this tool and produce something that works.
Yeah, I haven't really tried it yet. I think I need to try it out. I haven't really had the time. But from what I've heard, you don't even need the basics. And even you can build something from GPT, like in case you need like a line of coding. But it turns out like you don't need anything to do that.
All right. Well, that's my biggest curiosity about all the things we've talked about is can Opal do coding for people and can Sora to take away movie making and TV making? I hope not, because I think our stories would be very boring. But these are weird times.
Yeah, I think it would be recycled. We need people. People are not going to be replaced anytime soon.
Yeah, it's strange to see how quickly it's all evolving.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Maria, and explaining all the things about AI that I did not know. And hopefully our readers also learned something. This was great. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. See you next week.
Yeah, see you next time. So that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of Hubspot Media. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clarke. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter, so if you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email. And if you want more AI news, sign up for Mindstream at mindstream.news. See you later.
Hey everybody, I've been listening to this great show lately. It's called The Next Wave, Your Chief AI Officer, hosted by Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. So you can catch The Next Wave with Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands, leading AI creators who are your guiding light in the AI and technology frontier. AI technology is transforming super fast, and it's changing every day, and the way we do business and the media landscape is all fragmented, but The Next Wave strives to be the leading podcast on AI technology and how you can actually apply it into growing your business. You can check them out wherever you get your podcasts.